Hello everyone. With rumors of Nick All-Star Brawl 2 coming out, I decided to make a video talking about who I think would be in it. I had this video planned for a while and was working on it for a bit, as I always knew Nick All-Star Brawl 2 would be made, as the kart racing game has gotten 2 sequels, and with all the new leaks, it got me motivated to finish making this video. It helps that every leaked character was on my original list. With that out of the way, let's get to the list. First up is an obvious character, Jimmy Neutron. Hugh got in due to the memes around the time and the devs listened. It reminded me of people asking for Shaggy in Mortal Kombat, which led to Shaggy in Multiverses. Outsiders would be confused about having Hugh in over Jimmy, so he's an obvious choice to add. Next up we have Squidward. I made my list after the original Squidward leak all those many months ago, but I do think he's a good character. He has a ton of moveset potential, and SpongeBob is a huge series for Nick. A 4th rep just makes sense. These next two are characters some people might not want, as that makes 6 reps for this series, but they are Raphael and Donatello. One of the things I hear a lot from people who saw this game was just having 2 turtles makes the roster feel incomplete. And I see where they are coming from. The TMNT to me are like the Fantastic Four. It's either all of them or none of them. And if you just include 1 or 2, it just feels weird. That's why Doctor Doom is seen more often than the Fantastic Four. I am sure some people will be upset that the Turtles take up 6 slots, but they all use the same model, just with different colors. And a different weapon. I think they would be the easiest characters for the team to make fast. That's why it makes sense to me for them to be in. Next is Vlad, who on my original list was part of my planned DLC pack, but due to recent leaks, I switched him with someone else. More villains is always a good thing, and him being Danny's major antagonist makes him a perfect character for the game. On the other hand, we also need more heroes in the game, and that's where El Tigre comes in. He was on my list for a while, and I'm happy to see more leaks about him. When I made my list originally, he was one of my iffy choices where I didn't know how Nick felt about the series. Glad to see he might actually be in it. My next character would be Rudy. I know Snap is a lot more popular on polls, but I don't think he is that interesting moveset-wise. Graphically, it could be cool seeing him due to him being 2D and all, but I just think Rudy has a better moveset. His moveset could consist of him drawing different things to attack the opponent, and there are a lot of references you could take from the show to use. That is why he's my choice over Snap. Next up is a character I see a lot of split opinions on. It's Arnold from Hey Arnold. People say he's a pacifist and can't fight, but he plays multiple contact sports, has shoved people, and had a whole episode about doing karate. He does have potential. If you want to avoid him fighting directly, you could always have him fight using the "don't hit me, I'll hit me" stuff from the pilot. He hurts himself, and any enemies nearby accidentally get hit as well. I think he's a great choice. I waited a bit to do this next character, just so he would be next to characters from his home series. It's Mr. Krabs. I think SpongeBob, being Nick's biggest series, deserves 2 more reps in the sequel, and Mr. Krabs is who I picked. I personally want Larry the Lobster, but Mr. Krabs is a main character, and a lot of people want him in, so he just makes sense. This next character, I personally feel might not make it in, but part of me thinks he will. It's Dib from Invader Zim. I just feel he has great moveset potential. Enter the Florpus, while not as recent as it was before, does show Nick remembers the show, and it still has a cult following. Giving it 2 reps seems reasonable. I just also feel they won't, because Zim represents the franchise well enough on his own. And now we reached my next choice. Zuko from Avatar. I don't really have to explain why, right? He's extremely popular, he's from an action series, and he uses fire bending, which isn't really represented in the game yet. So, that's why he's in. Speaking of bending styles not really represented, next up is Katara. While Korra is a waterbender, her moveset has her using multiple elements, while Katara would use just water, meaning we will have a character for each element. Aang for air, except when he has his avatar state, Toph for earth, Zuko for fire, and Katara for water. I don't really think she will make it in, but I just wanted to add a character for each element. I thought it'd be nice. Thanks to Hugh being in, this pick with how popular it is feels kind of like a lock, unless Nick tells them they can't. And it's Otis from back at the barnyard. The same people who made Jimmy Neutron made this, so they are willing to work with the devs, and I just think it would be a great addition to the cast. While I don't watch this show, I know it's popular, and it's modern, so it would be wrong to not give it a third rep. But I had no idea who to pick, so I just googled the cast and decided on Lynn Loud. I'm a fan of Casey Jones, so a sports-themed fighting character would be nice. If you don't like her, replace her with any other character from the show. I just think it's getting another rep. My last character for the base roster is a 2-in-1. Personally, I think they work better as solo fighters. We already have Ren and Stimpy when it comes to a duo who fights themselves. But I couldn't decide who I wanted more, so here they are. Dagit and Norbit. I've seen some recent merch with the Angry Beavers on it, so Nick isn't ignoring the series, and they are popular, like most of my choices, so I thought I'd just put them in. With that, the base roster is done. But DLC does keep games alive, so I do have a DLC pack idea. One of these characters I feel is likely, while the other two I just personally want to see. First is Azula. I think if this is the roster we get for Nick All-Star Brawl 2, Azula would be high on the list for DLC. Her series is extremely popular, she's a fan favorite, and another villain for the game. Plus she can use lightning bending, so she's a little different than Zuko. I think if she isn't in the base roster, she will do very well on DLC polls. Next is a character I personally think is cool, and find it odd no one really seems to be asking for her. It is Eliza Thornberry. I think she has great moveset potential. She can summon animals for her specials, where they attack independently from her before running off stage. Maybe even have Darwin for her strong attacks. I just think there is a fun character there, but she gets overshadowed by her father. This last one is just for me. A character I want a lot, that if he got in, I would just lose it. It's Josh Redgrove from Mr. Meaty. I loved this show, and while I doubt we'll see any live action characters in this game, a puppet character seems believable. Plus, my sister thought the show was very creepy, so that's another reason he should get in. If anyone is watching this, remember, Josh Redgrove for Nick All-Star Brawl. With that last character, that's everyone I think might get into Nick All-Star Brawl 2. And you might be thinking, no Fairly Odd Parents? No Timmy? And I just don't know how those rights issues are being handled, so I didn't put them on the list. If they are handled, and they could get in, just replace Rudy and Arnold with Timmy and someone else from Fairly Odd Parents. But now I want to spend time talking about other things besides characters I would like to see in Nick All-Star Brawl 2. First is stages. I hope to see a stage per character like the first game did. I feel like every series with more than 3 reps needs at least one competitive stage, but as many casual stages as you want. I really like a lot of the casual stages and just want to see more like them. I also feel that they should limit the amount of stages per series to 4. So SpongeBob, the TMNT, and Avatar would get 4 stages each. For example, Zuko would give us a stage set in the Fire Nation. That would be the 4th Avatar stage. So Katara could have a stage like the Aggro Crag from Guts, or something like that. That way, series that might never get a rep can still get stages, and also so we don't have a billion TMNT stages. I hope Nick gives them more freedom when it comes to lines for the characters. I would love to hear them maybe commenting on their opponent rather than random phrases. I would also really love to see endings for arcade mode, like beating it as Patrick has him waking up from his dream going, "Oh boy, 3 a.m." Or, if they do have more freedom, having something like Korra and Danny teaming up to fight evil spirits in Republic City. All it takes is one image and some line per character, and you instantly improve arcade mode for me. I would also like to see more items in this game. I really enjoy items and would love to see more. Some examples would be the jellyfish from SpongeBob, that could act sort of like the bees from Smash, chasing the opponent, doing constant damage. Another idea is Momo from Avatar. You throw Momo at opponents and he'll scratch them. My next idea is this fan from the Ninja Turtles. It could either do explosive damage or suck people in. Both could really work. It does both. My last idea is Mr. Friend from Rugrats. Because I think if you can't have the Rugrats in the game, the next best thing is to have a bunch of items from their series. Mr. Friend could just patrol a platform, and if you walk into him, he gets destroyed, but you take a bit of damage. There's plenty of ideas they could do. These are some of my ideas. I'm also a huge fan of assist trophies in Smash, but I don't think they have the time or the budget to do them. But if they did, I would do like the Kids' Choice Awards blimp, and if you used one, it would say Best Supporting Character, and finish by saying the character's name, and then they pop on screen. You could do a lot of fun ones like Thorg from Rugrats, Tak from Invader Zim, any of Jenny's sisters, but again, budget and dev time might make it impossible. And with that, I think I'm done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do you think I'm right? Maybe you think I'm wrong. Either way, I hope you have a great day. Have a good one.